It's almost the anniversary of My Little Pony. Damn.
Hopefully when I'm releasing this episode, it'll be October 10th, the 15th anniversary of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, or MLP Gen 4.
When I got into the show, I think I was around middle school age, so I don't know, like what? 13, 14. I was still watching some cartoons, but not as much. I think the only other cartoon that I saw that back then was still SpongeBob, and man, maybe some reruns of older shows I used to watch, like Camp Lazlo, Ed, Edd and Eddy, sometimes Totally Spies, if some channel still remembered them back then. There's other shows I watched as well. Psych, Monk, Top Gear, some medical shows on the ER channel, or whatever the medical channels were called back then. Hell, I like Spike TV, so Deadliest Warrior, 1,000 Ways to Die. Crazy things to watch back then, but even with all that in my catalog, I still like My Little Pony.
For this video, I'm just only going to be going over the first 2 episodes, that being Friendship is Magic Part 1 and 2. The first season aired on the Hub, which is now Discovery Family, on October 10th, 2010. Who owns this channel? The Cartoon Network, yes, the one with Ed, Edd and Eddy, Camp Lazlo, and Hasbro Entertainment. Hasbro also put an animator named Lauren Faust as creative director and executive producer. I see that she's also credited as being the showrunner from seasons 1 through 2, but if I'm correct, once season 1 ended, she basically cut off ties with the show. Her plans, or some of her scripts and conceptions, got used in season 2, and I think one plan got used in season 3, but after that, season 4 coming around, that's it, no more Faust in general.
Big sets, cause basically she was big boss.
Back to season 1 terms, we also have Daniel Ingram, the music composer and songwriter for My Little Pony's first season and the rest of Gen 4. And then we have this name, Jason Thiessen. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that name, but he was essentially the executive producer slash supervising director for MLP. He also made a 2-minute animated short for Faust and Hasbro, I guess as a pitch. And I guess to wrap it up, I'll just voice all the voice actors for the main 6, basically the main characters of the whole series. There's Tara Strong. Everyone knows who Tara Strong is. You probably even know what pony she voices. We have Catherine Westluck, Ashley Ball, Tabitha St. Germain, and Andrea Libman. Who do they voice? I'll tell you all later. Before I go into the show proper, let's take a look at some commercials that promoted said show. Don't worry, this should be quick. And second of all, most of these, or all of these, are pulled from the Hub channel, which is still up, so hell yeah. Let's start off with the simple commercial.
Surprise! In a place called Ponyville, anything can happen. Really? Come on! It's where adventure arrives at a full gallop. Let's go! And where friendship comes with something extra. Magic! My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, where friends come together. Check your local listings.
Standard commercial, pretty alright, shows off the characters and is concise and straight to the point. There's also some fun and playful ones, like this commercial in a parody of California Girls.
Ooh, this is my jam! There is a place where the grass is what's for dinner. Soup! Every pony! Equestria girls were kind of magical. Boots on hooves, bikinis on top.
Now I can't show the full video, but it is very cute, very nice. A pretty good parody of California Girls, and also kind of like a timepiece, but what's more of a timepiece, or should I say time capsule, is this ad. This one is a parody of one of those early Apple iPod. There's an app for that type of ad.
What's great about My Little Pony is, if you want friendship that's magic, there's a pony for that. If you want to find the hottest place to graze, there's a pony for that.
You can eat that!
Fashion on the fly, closest rodeo, or rainbow in a snap? there's a pony for that too. And if you want a sun-stealing, princess-nabbing, lover of darkness stick in the mud, there's even a pony for that. Yep, there's a pony for just about anything. My Little Pony, Saturdays at 8 a.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on the Hub.
Oh, it really is play-by-play. There's an app for that type of ad from back in the day. It is nostalgic as well. A time capsule, like I said. The app pictures even look like how they used to look back in, the mid-2000s when the iPhone 2 or 3, whenever that ad was playing. Even near the end with those apps turning and shit. That's how that ad ended too. Or the Apple ad, I should say. Gotta be specific on that. This is my favorite one out of the 3 that I've shown. It's also the one that I remember seeing, back in the day. All I can say is that it takes me back, not only to my MLP days as a brony, but as a child seeing those iPhone apps, ads, whatever.
Alright, so we see how some of the ads were like when they were promoting the first season of the show, but I think it's high time that we actually or at least I give an overview of the show before I go into the show spoilers properly. So if you don't want to hear that, I will post timestamps, but like I said, just a general overview of these two, the first initial episodes, and yeah, let's get into it.
Alright, so Friendship is Magic Part 1, released on the 10th of September 2010. Yes, 10-10-10. Very epic. You get a storybook visual of 2 sisters, them being the rulers of this land, called Equestria, Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. Of course, you can tell by the name, Celestia rules with the sun, and Luna rules with the moon. Very wholesome, but over time, Luna is getting a bit jealous of Celestia since the ponies all revere her since they're all awake and they appreciate her sunlight, but when Luna raises her moon, everyone's asleep, which sucks, and no one gets to appreciate her side, her in general. So Luna gets a bit angsty, ticked off that Celestia's getting all the attention, and then turns into an entity called Nightmare Moon. Tries to, I guess, sack Celestia, take all the power for herself, plunge the land into night, but fails as Princess Celestia uses the elements of harmony to defend herself and banish Nightmare Moon to the moon. Celestia then took up the duties of raising the sun and the moon,
Eventually phasing to the present.
we kind of zoom out and take a look at one of the main characters of the show, Twilight Sparkle, a studious student studying in Celestia's school. We didn't go through the intro, very cute, very cool.
Definitely iconic. We didn't have a shot of Twilight going back to her house, but she stopped by 3 of her friends who invite her to some type of party, but Twilight declines, says she has to study, and runs off. At the library, she fears that the prophecy of Nightmare Moon might be nearing its end, so she writes a letter to Princess Celestia, sends it, and gets an immediate response back, essentially telling her to calm down, don't always, study by books and shit, and actually go outside, touch grass, essentially. She also is tasked to see how the preparations are going for this celebration that's happening soon, called the Summer Sun Celebration. It's also special since it's going to be the 1000th year that celebration has happened.
Celestia also specifically requests this special mission, I guess. Make some friends. It also takes place in Ponyville, basically the town that this series mainly takes place in. Nonetheless, Twilight has a plan to just oversee the celebration preparations, and once that's done, avoid making friends. Instead, she intends to find proof of Nightmare Moon's prophecy coming true. But of course, that never fucking happens. She does check up on the preparations, but on the way meets 5 different ponies. First one being as soon as they land, they greet a pink pony, in which Twilight introduces herself, but Pink Pony gasps and leaves. Pretty awkward interaction, but they then go on to Apple Acres, where we meet Applejack, an honest and hard-working Earth pony with, of course, the country accent, who is in charge of catering, as Twilight is sampling their treats, some of the food, all of which is apple-based. I mean, it does sound nice, it also sounds overwhelming. And also meets some of her extended family, which I believe is one of the few times Twilight, or even us as the audience, even sees Applejack's extended family, so that's pretty nice. Next up on the list to meet is Rainbow Dash, a sky blue Pegasus pony with rainbow hair, of course, who is in charge of clearing the weather, or clearing the skies of clouds, which she hasn't done yet, but when Twilight confronts her about it, already states that she can clear it in 10 seconds flat. Dash holds true on her promise, pretty funny, but already gets real and says that she would like to hang out with Twilight in the future. We then move on to my favorite pony, Rarity, a white unicorn with a purple and curly mane, very fashionable, and she is in charge of the decorations. Spike has a crush on her instantly as soon as he lays eyes on her, and upon greeting, Rarity is a bit surprised about Twilight's mane, tries to fix it by having to go back to the boutique, fixing her up and giving her some dresses. I think Twilight also remarks that she's from 𝐂𝐀𝐏𝐿 and that Rarity is a bit, I guess, starstruck about meeting a 𝐂𝐀𝐏𝐿ian, or however you pronounce their citizens' names, ponies from 𝐂𝐀𝐏𝐿. Moreover, Rarity insists that she and Twilight will be the best of friends in the near future. But whatever, as Rarity is distracted by, I don't know, getting some emeralds or something, Twilight fucks right off from the boutique. Now we have our final participant for preparations, Fluttershy, another Pegasus, but more timid, with a yellow fur and a pink mane. She's in charge basically of music, I guess, the orchestra, whatever you want to call it. Twilight tries to communicate with her, but Fluttershy is really shy, and while still trying to communicate with her, Fluttershy notices Spike, a baby dragon, which she remarks that she has never seen before. And now she gets all chitter-chattery, even follows them home to where their residence is, the Golden Oak Library, and yeah, Twilight basically just stops the interaction there by slamming the door in front of her. Isn't she just a top gal? Little did she know, she walked into a surprise party by Pinkie Pie, the final member of the main six. If I'm correct, Pinkie Pie didn't really have anything to do in the ceremony preparation, so...
But she made a surprise party. Pinkie Pie introduces herself, other ponies are there, as well as the main ponies themselves, you know, ooh. But Twilight does not want to, join the party, because she's lamenting the fact that she never got any time to study about the Nightmare Moon prophecy. So some time passes, the party still continues, and Spike updates Twilight that the sun's about to come up. So everyone goes to the town hall of Ponyville. Once there, the celebration goes through, but once Celestia is supposed to be revealed, yet she's not there. Which is weird, but what does appear is this blue mist, and suddenly, Nightmare Moon appears, wowie zowie. And with that, Twilight's worst fears are realized. The Mayor on the Moon is here in the flesh, and here to rule for eternity in darkness. But she doesn't take that lying down.
Alright, so first thoughts, or my initial thoughts of rewatching Season 1, Episode 1. I gotta say, I do like the storytelling and especially the first bit with the storybooks storytelling. I am a sucker for storybook stuff, aesthetics. Child of Light is like a good example, though I think the whole game is basically storybook stuff. I know Shrek has a storybook thing, though that one's just kind of like a parody. And Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, they have something like that in the beginning as well. So, I don't know, it's just a childhood thing, I guess. But yeah, the storytelling as well is coherent, the world building as well, the past with Celestia and Luna, how they were once in harmony, but Luna got dissatisfied and decided to be evil, only for Celestia to use the elements of harmony, which we'll see again later in part 2 of the intro, the season intro. The Summer Sun celebration, that stuff's kind of cool. It kind of sucks that we didn't see a lot more of 𝐶antr★lot, but what can we do? Ponyville is pretty nice. Nice quaint town. The characters, the main 6, or the main 5, or whatever, the other 5 or the main 6. Pinkie, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, Fluttershy. I think they got all introduced pretty well. It wasn't all that forced, or it wasn't forced at all. It just seems natural, as they were part of, except for Pinkie, all part of the preparations for the celebrations. And I like that. I like how the prophecy came true, essentially, and Nightmare Moon did seem like a menace, so there's that. I did like how it's still nighttime when she appeared too, so pretty cool. I think the only criticisms I can say is that the animation's not the best, but it's still season 1. Well, all I can say is I don't think they're trying to do anything hard or anything complicated. You try to tell the story. Just convey the story. That's it. That's it. Nothing fancy as of yet. It does get better over the seasons, the animation. But yeah, I think that's mainly it. Yeah. I guess you can also say how different the ponies are. That's a plus. And I get... it's not really relatable to me, but how nerdy Twilight is before she met her friends, so I don't know. But yeah, overall, I still liked it. Not the best, but it's something. It's... I don't know, 7 out of 10. If I were to give it a fucking rating. It serves its purpose. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. That's it. And you know what? That's good enough for me. Now onto the part 2 of Friendship is Magic. Let's go.
Alright, so we start off the second part of Friendship is Magic with a recap. This episode aired on the 22nd of October 2010, if I'm correct. And yeah, recaps are the norm, sadly. But hey yo, if you're watching this sporadically, I guess it makes sense. But I just don't like it in general, even if I'm watching like weeks at a time or something. Anyways, we pick up the episode properly with us back in Town Hall. The guards try to seize Nightmare Moon, but she turns into some type of mist, goes away, gets out of the Town Hall. RD tries to catch her, but just can't. Nightmare Moon's too fast for her. And Twilight heads back to her library with the other ponies, or should I say the other main 5, whatever. Spike is put to sleep. Twilight research on the elements of harmony. There's said to be 6, but only 5 are known. Kindness, laughter, generosity, honesty, and loyalty. There's also the 6th one, but we don't know that one yet. Now it is revealed that the last time these were seen was in the ancient castle of the Two Sisters, which is now located in the Everfree Forest. Basically a spooky forest that you shouldn't go into because there's some fearsome critters there and you might never come out, so God bless. Celestia bless, I guess. After phase shifting, basically it's like a Gran Turismo transition to the front of the Everfree Forest, Twilight says some goo goo gaga shit like, "Oh, I appreciate y'all for helping me and coming over here, but I think I can take it on myself." Her friends dismiss her as, "Can't take everything on by yourself, you know, simple things." Also, Spooky Forest, very notorious for, you know, the interesting critters there. Don't fucking become a 411 case, please, thank you. Anyways, the forest is basically some trial by fire for each of the ponies. Basically, Twilight and the gang gets into some perilous situation, and one of the ponies used their, I guess, defining trait to help a lot of them out of said situation, and said situation is basically caused by Nightmare Moon in mist form. It's like I'm talking about Pokemon forms, man. First one, the ponies are by a cliffside, and they're basically telling Twilight reasons why they don't really know pony goes to the Everfree Forest, and while they're distracted, Nightmare Moon in, of course, mist form goes into the rocks, seeps in there, and essentially, I guess, collapses it. So the whole cliff face falls. Twilight is hanging on. Applejack is the one that shines here, grabs onto Twilight but tells her to let go. Of course, some back and forth goes on, but it's basically a trust fault kind of thing. Gotta, I don't know, trust on this pony. She does let go. She's safe.
Being caught by the Pegasi and slowly let down.
Godspeed. Trial 1 is completed.
Nightmare Moon is thwarted, so she just gets back out and hurts some type of creature before it cuts to ads. Coming right back after said ads, it's revealed that it's a manticore, a very young one. Ponies try to quell it, calm it down so they can pass. Fluttershy, trying her best, is the one that shines here, tries her best to get every pony's attention, finally asserts herself, and essentially just takes care of the manticore, who has a splinter in his paw. So there you go. Fluttershy takes care of it. Manticore likes her, they can all pass safely. And Nightmare Moon is thwarted once again. So third scenario, move deeper into the forest, and the forest gets a bit spooky. The mist, Nightmare Moon's mist, essentially goes into the forest or into the trees, gives them spooky faces, essentially scaring all the ponies except for Pinkie Pie, laughing at the trees or in the face of fear. And then she goes into a musical bit, which I guess the moral of said musical is laugh at your fears, whatever scares you, have a good laugh, and then the spooky factor will diminish, and you can eventually conquer said fear. In the end, the ponies laugh it off, their faces go away, and the trees are back to normal. And thus, Nightmare Moon is thwarted once again. Pinkie Pie is the one that's important here. Alright, second to last scenario. The river. Basically, it's a bit wavy. I don't know what to call it. There's like white waters, I guess you can say. Turbulent, let's just say. And it's caused by this sea serpent who is crying since someone, it's the mist of course, cut off part of its moustache. Its glorious moustache. Rarity's the top player in this one, so she sympathizes with the serpent and is generous by using a scale to cut off her tail hair and use it as a replacement for the cut off bit of the mustache for the serpent. He's so touched by this that he stops, appreciates the gift, and even helps the ponies cross by forming some type of bridge. Well, I wouldn't call it bridge. I'd probably call it like serpent hopping thing. If he didn't do that, the ponies could have just walked across the water by themselves. It didn't even look that deep, but ayo, whatever. Final scenario. We're just outside the ancient castle of the two sisters, or at least the ruins of it, but there's a bridge that's down on the other side. So RD, Rainbow Dash, the one that shines through in this scenario, Dashy connects the bridge but is distracted by these weird ponies. Of course, it's Nightmare Moon once again, this time in the form of 3 Shadow Bolt ponies.
Basically the Wonderbolts, but evil.
They're essentially trying to mess with her and have Rainbow Dash join them so that she can abandon friends, you know? But after some hard thinking and even some fog being pushed in to block the view
while stopping Twilight
from getting through to Rainbow,
after thinking about it, she thanks the Shadow Bolts for the offer, but stays loyal to her friends because she has to help them and she can't leave him in that situation. Angers the Shadow Bolt, so they go away. So there you go, Rainbow Dash is the star of this scenario. Nonetheless, Rainbow connects the bridge finally, goes back to her friends, while the Shadow Bolts revert back to the mist form of Nightmare Moon, and both of them essentially head to the castle of the two sisters. Once inside, the main 6 actually find the elements, well, 5 of the elements. They don't know where the 6th one is, so Twilight gets the 5 of them down, tries to make a spark with at least the 5 of the elements, tells her friends to take a step back, but they give her a lot more than just a few steps back. They gave her the whole damn room. They just left. I don't know why they did that. I guess they tried to see where said 6th element is. But as soon as the friends leave the room, Twilight tries to use her magic to create a spark for the 5 elements. But some blue aura, which I'm guessing is Nightmare Moon, starts to spin the elements. And with that, it kind of spooks. Well, it doesn't kinda. It does spook Twilight. And her friends are alerted to it with Twilight's shriek. Twilight tries to stop the elements from spinning, but as soon as she jumps into that tornado thing that it turned into, they both get teleported to somewhere else in the ruins. Twilight's friends head back into the room, but they find no one there, so they're dumbfounded. But they're basically some type of tower. You can call it a boss fight between Twilight and Nightmare Moon. That's what is initiated. Twilight tries to initiate a joust, I guess, against Nightmare Moon, which she didn't take seriously first, but she took the bait, got Nightmare Moon away from the elements, while used her magic again to at least teleport away from Nightmare Moon to the elements, tries to use magic again. The mayor from the moon tries to interrupt Twilight, but the elements are starting to spark. It does send Twilight back, but the both have been believe that a spark has been created between the elements. Twilight is determined that she has did something right. Nightmare Moon is fearful that the elements might actually send her back to the moon, or maybe even deal a harsher punishment than before. But it doesn't work, the spark stopped. Twilight is dumbfounded to where the 6th element is, since there was a spark, you know? That doesn't matter to the mayor from the moon. She fucking destroys that shit by just stomping on the ground. Okay. The Nightmare basically reinstates, goes on a tirade about how silly Twilight is for going against her and that Princess Celestia will never be seen again and the night is eternal. But the friends, Twilight hears her friends coming towards where they are, and that's where she realizes that's the spark, the realization that she has these friends that basically represent the elements of harmony. Now it's Twilight's turn for a speech. As soon as the main 6 are reunited, Twilight declares that they are the elements of harmony, and those broken shards that Nightmare Moon destroyed, they start to gravitate towards their respective element bearer. It goes in order with the scenario that we just went through in the beginning of the episode. Applejack is the element of honesty, Fluttershy is the element of kindness, Pinkie Pie the element of laughter, Rarity the element of generosity, and finally, or second to final, Rainbow Dash is the element of loyalty. And the mythical 6th element finally appears, and that element is the element of magic, belonging only to Twilight. Once that's declared, the element shards actually go around the respective ponies' necks, turns into necklaces, with the exception of Twilight, whose element is actually a crown, so very cool. And with the power of friendship and the power of the elements of harmony, of course, Nightmare Moon is defeated with the power of the damn rainbow.
Taste the rainbow.
God bless, I love Skittles. So yes, Nightmare Moon is truly defeated once again. And with that, the ponies celebrate and notices the necklaces. The sun is finally back, is rising. Princess Celestia actually comes and congratulates them, and even tells Twilight that she did see the signs of Nightmare Moon returning and thought that it was Twilight that would be the one to repel Nightmare Moon. So there's that, they share a hug, and then it's time for Celeste to reunite with her sister, Princess Luna, who looks much different here than compared to the other episode she's in. I'm guessing it's because she's in a weakened state. I think that's the only reason. But nonetheless, Luna is grief-stricken about how she acted and doesn't want to be an evil pony anymore. Celestia welcomes her back with open wings, open arms, arms wide open. And Pinkie Pie has a damn great idea. It's time for a party. I mean, it calls for it. The sisters are united, there's no more Nightmare Moon, therefore no more perils, and it's time for the good times to roll. So, they go on with the party. During the celebrations, Twilight is a bit sad that she probably has to go back to Canterlot since now her mission is over. She has overlooked the preparations, made some friends, and in her mind, that's it. But Celestia is a good pony. She basically makes a decree, I guess written in paper, that Twilight is to research the friendship and magic more in Ponyville. That's essentially what she wrote. Very, very cool, very, very nice, and that's basically the end. There is a funny bit with Pinkie Pie, which, I mean, that's just Pinkie Pie. I like it. I miss stuff like that, and the episode truly ends. Ah, man.
Alright, so that is My Little Pony Friendship is Magic Parts 1 and 2. Ah, man. I think the only thing I can see as negatives, some of the animations, or not animations, some of the expressions, I guess, just doesn't seem that well made. Like, I'll show some screenshots, but they just don't seem the best. I guess they're trying to figure out how to make said expression on said pony's face, so there's that. That's the only reason I can think of. It's probably the best reason too. Occam's razor, you know. I guess one thing I can also say, it went maybe a little too fast, but then again, it's the intro. It wasn't too slow, neither was it too fast for me at least. I can see why it can be a bit short and fast for other people. I think it's fine for an intro opener to the whole show as overall. Yeah. The crazy thing that when people saw this, well, mainly the adults, the 4chaners and shit. Well, not just 4chaners, adults, 4chaners, both of them. Mainly 4chan. When they first watched it, I mean, they wanted to shit on it, but it turns out it was a fine, dandy kid show. Or maybe more than a kid show, because I still watch it. People like me still watch it. Kind of like how people still watch Bluey, you know? It kind of makes me sad that the video, at least with the audio that I have untrimmed, is going to be around 30 minutes. I want it to be less than 30 minutes, but whatever. Yeah. With the release of these first 2 episodes and other episodes of the first season, we got people that got inspired to make other stuff, like, I don't know, Ace Attorney, the My Little Pony, the ones that the turnabout with kind of like the old Phoenix Wright graphics. That one was around season 1. Damn, I guess creepypastas for some reason. I think the Pickamina thing was a season 1 thing, if I remember correctly. Oh man, just so many fanfictions, so many stories, so many creative YouTube projects were made back then. And I miss it, I miss it. Gen 5 didn't hit as well, which sucks. But I'm just gonna cut the rambling here. If you're interested, I'll just say, if you want to watch it officially, I think they're still on Netflix. I just don't know if all of it's on Netflix. I do know all of it is on Amazon. The reason why I say I don't know if all of it's on Netflix, I do remember it all in Netflix, and then And then other months, it's just like halfway, like season 4, season 5, it just stops there. So, there's that. I'll just say YouTube's a friend. 𝐂𝐇𝐀𝐏𝐄𝐒. Fuck, what's the one I actually watched? Oh man, I don't remember off the top of my head. I was literally just watching it too, but I'll leave it in the description, so there's that. Anyways, I'll give y'all an edit. It's probably gonna be a Creed edit. Princess Luna, Celestia, no. With arms wide open. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Alright, what's up, beautiful bastards? It's me, Kasinal, or Kasinal, Koralian in this channel, but all I'm gonna say is appreciate y'all for watching. Happy MLP anniversary. What is it, the 10th, 15th year? Oh god, I forgot, but yeah, happy anniversary of Gen 4 MLP. I will address this. The music. I didn't talk about it since I didn't really hear it, kind of like in Uncharted 1, so yeah, sorry. But I think the Pinky's musical was alright, so there's that. As for new releases, I think it's only Silent Hill F that was notable. I don't remember any other release. We are pretty close to release the Pokemon ZA, so there's that I want to check out. I haven't been doing my spooky streams as of late, but don't worry, chuds. I'll make it happen. And if you are interested in checking out those, those streams, it's going to be in my other channel, so yeah, there's that. Anyways, quick one for this end card. Thank you all for watching. You'll have a good one, and I shall see you in another episode. Watch next channel, man. Peace out.